Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Health and Wellness with Dr. Nafeesa Jalal. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today, and we have an amazing show planned for you. So today's show is going to be focused around fitness and how we get the most out of our fitness goals and how nutrition complements fitness. How often do we find ourselves at the gym or partaking in other physical activity, and we just don't seem to get the results that we want from the work that we put in? And is it because we're not working out hard enough, or is it because we're not working out long enough or frequently enough, or that our posture isn't correct, or that perhaps we aren't eating the foods we need to complement our weight loss gains or our weight gain gains? I am extremely excited to introduce today the brilliant guest that we have in-house. Roga Razzo is a certified fascial stretch therapist, personal trainer, and holistic life coach. Welcome to the show, Rosa.
Thank you.
So now, before we jump into the meat of things, I'd love for you to share with the audience your personal story of why you picked fitness to be a career choice, to be a life choice, and what motivates you to do what you do, which is help people live their best lives.
So personally, I've just been blessed to have been in the into fitness and into nutrition all my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I grew up with my father having a passion in eating healthy and cooking traditional Italian food.
Yeah.
And I've just been an athlete all my life.
Okay.
So it was just very natural for me to. I always had this passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
When I went through a near-death experience when I got into a car accident, my life shifted. This was about 12 years ago. And so my relationship with fitness has just actually evolved.
Okay.
So really fitness and nutrition has always been a part of my life, but the evolution of it is what I find has been really exciting.
And the car accident, is that something that hurt you physically, so you had to take a different approach to fitness again, or work out harder, or?
Yeah, so I have a metal plate in my arm now, and so I broke my arm, and it just, you know, my body started to respond to training differently. You know, I started to go through lots of aches and pains, swelling. It was harder for me to lose weight. All these struggles that I didn't go through when I
Initially started,
and because I was just fit all my life, and it's just kind of, you know, with the random, you know, what do you call it, freshman 15 or freshman 10 or something, you know, you just gain 10 to 15 pounds here and there.
Yeah.
But overall, it was, you know, I was hardcore into training. I ran a lot. I trained a lot. I played in Division I soccer in the States. So,
That's
you know,
brilliant.
we played a high level there. So they make you weight train 5 days a week. And so, I mean, I did all of that.
Yeah.
It's just after the accident, my body was just always aching and always in pain. And I was actually told, you know, what my limitations would be after the accident. But it turned out just through perseverance and really using a mindful approach, it's allowed me to now be even stronger and even more fit than I've ever been in all aspects of my life than I ever was as an athlete, by doing less and working smarter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's so many questions I have in what you've just said. The mindfulness of how we work out and how we sort of prioritize fitness and how we push. And you said doing less, and I want to touch on that as well later. But I want to go a little bit from the beginning for our viewers. Tell us what fitness means, because we hear this word all the time. We want to be our fittest self. Is fitness a weight loss goal, a weight gain goal? Is it a certain weight? Is it a certain body fat percentage? What does it mean to be fit?
Okay. So, I mean, we can all define fitness in our own way, but ultimately, when you think about fitness, it's just being able to meet a physiological demand for a certain task.
Okay.
Right? And so someone who is a pro athlete is going to require a higher baseline of fitness to be able to
do what they have to do.
And to execute, right?
Okay.
And so at any point where we feel like we can't truly achieve something we desire because some part of us is limited, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is, there's so many aspects of us that we need to condition that feels like a fitness. And so it's really about what are you training for.
Okay.
So an athlete training for the sport, you know, and then there's factors to consider in that fitness that, you know, is it because you're carrying excess weight, right? Is it because, you know, you're not carrying excess weight, but you don't have enough lean mass, which is maybe why you have osteoporosis and all that stuff, right?
Okay.
Is it that you're sitting all day and you have poor posture and you're very rigid, so your mobility isn't there, right? So there's so many aspects to fitness.
Okay.
But ultimately, it's just an overall balance in so many areas.
And it's so much wider than how we physically look. How many pounds we have on us or how many pounds we don't have on us.
Yes, and really everything's all interconnected. So there's even an aspect of, you know, being able to have a certain mentality to be able to, adhere to what it takes to have the discipline and to do what it takes to achieve any kind of goal. So in this case, say a physical goal, or we want to lose weight, or whatever it is it takes a certain type of person to achieve that, a person who's disciplined and all that stuff. So being able to have the mental fitness, and recognizing that we go through life, so we're always going to be triggered in some way, where we have to have emotional fitness and be able to keep ourselves emotionally stable,
of course,
so that we can make decisions that are in our best interest and for the people in our lives.
Of course.
And also then moving through life, feeling like you have some purpose in your life, and you're here for, and there's nothing worse than walking around life and feeling like you don't belong and that there is no purpose. So having that, spiritual awareness, that's a form of fitness too. And so when we explore the different parts of and the different aspects of ourselves that make us whole, it always becomes some sort of fitness, and there's always a program that you have to execute, and then making sure that you execute it with honesty, with integrity, with intention, with consistency, and you'll always get the results. But those are things that need to be there. So fitness is really about, training to be able to be your best at something, right? And so if we're walking up the stairs and we're feeling pain, if we're sitting down for 5 minutes and it hurts our back to get up, if we're sore waking up in the morning, that's, we're limited in our day-to-day life. We're not fit for the life that we want to live. Right. And we have one of two options: is to do less and not expose ourselves to anything, so we feel like what we're asking ourselves to do
is fine,
is fine, but we then become deconditioned. Or to set the standards high enough that they're realistic, and train all aspects of us to be able to be fit in a way that allows us to come across as, it's with grace and ease, rather than control and creating, not being too obsessive with it, which is what happened to me when I was an athlete. It was, I was fit, but I was unaware. It was very regimented. It was obsessive.
And it was just really the physical component of fitness that you were focused on.
There was no
the spiritual, the whole
awareness.
The mental.
There was definitely emotional stability, because I was so mental that there was like disconnect. But to also be playing at a high level, I just was blessed to be exposed to amazing coaches, amazing teachers. All my life, I really truly feel like I am blessed that I've always been surrounded by the best, the people in the best in their field. So I've always been positively influenced, despite my upbringing that maybe couldn't provide me some things in my life. And so I always had the emotional stability. I would say I had the mental attitude and the discipline, but it was lacking of intention. It was just going through, the motions and everything. So, and then when I got hit by a car, not only did I lose everything, but I went back to such a place that I've never experienced.
And in some ways, you started from the beginning.
Yeah, but even like I never remember a time where I couldn't do push-ups. Like I couldn't even do a push-up. I couldn't feel my arm. I'm talking as if I had to learn how to move again. And so the basics of things that I've achieved when I was younger and gradually became fit as an athlete growing up, that I've never known such a basic a need for learning such basic movements that ended up making me so much stronger. Because ultimately what I was doing was I was building a foundation that we don't build. And so we have skill and we have foundation. And it's like in anything in life, even in a relationship, right? It could seem great on the outside. It could look like it's, if things can look pretty on the outside, even with like with sports, you can have an athlete who's very cheeky and very, I was always a cheeky player, and has some great moves, but then they injure themselves. Right? There's injuries and there's, things collapse when there's a lack of foundation. And so what the car accident, in hindsight, ended up doing for me is allowed me to go back to the basics. And build that foundation in a strong way. Absolutely. And what was revealed to me in that process was discoveries of new feelings and movements and strengths that I've never experienced my whole life as a Division I athlete that also played at a national level for soccer.
That's so impressive, by the way. That's amazing.
Thank you. But how was I not aware of this for playing at such a high level? So these are things that we take for granted. And so unfortunately, when we look to improve ourselves, we allow ourselves to be deconditioned first until it's so uncomfortable we have to do something about it. And so fitness too is also about recognizing that if there's been a while where we've been lacking integrity, to restore that integrity might take a while, that we have to be okay with just looking at fitness as just building a strong foundation.
Okay.
And too often we go and think we've got to lift heavy, and we got to run like 10K.
Yeah.
It's like, first just like,
Start
connect with your
here
body.
and then slowly go up.
And you'll be surprised how much quicker you get stronger and how much it sustains, and it actually starts to eventually become a way of being and a lifestyle. And it's just like, those people who have those nice, like, I don't know anything much about cars, but those nice mint cars that are from like the 60s, but it looks like it's brand new. It's like
maintained.
Well maintained, right? And it's all about posture and breath and body awareness and understanding how the body moves, not just on a level of like single joints, but also how the joints move together and how the body moves in a like orchestrated fashion. There's a certain way it's supposed to move naturally. And what we're doing is we're just throwing weights around. As long as we're grunting and there's effort and we feel like we're leaving like we did work, but what we're doing is we're just jamming everything and creating so much stress in the body, and we're building ourselves superficially, but we're breaking down at a foundational level that it shows up later in life. And then we have to go back, and it just takes so much work. It's like, do it right in the beginning.
This is so interesting, because I'm hearing you talk about fitness in such a holistic way. And so often, whenever we throw the word out fitness, we really just relate back to the gym and working out hard and lifting heavy weights. But it's such a part and parcel of so many different things.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
you've got the mental, you've got the spiritual, but even in the physical, you've got a way of building up the physical.
Yes.
And you've got a way of really concentrating on what you're doing at every level in order to slowly build that up.
Absolutely.
So this is
and
really,
it's
really
all
good to
about
know.
building strength from the inside out. But we must first break down what we build on the outside.
Right.
Break it down, go inside, and then build from the inside out. So there is a process to it. But we go straight to, the outside stuff.
Right, because we see it so often.
Yeah,
it's visible.
Totally. And
more
it's
than
funny
the
'cause
inside.
I always say, all gym memberships, you get a gym membership and you get to just go use the gym. But there's so much that you need to know about weight training that there definitely should be some system implemented in gyms, even the bigger gyms, for sure, where once you get a membership, part of the membership should be like 1 month where you have a personal trainer that truly educates you on how to use things, but also to understand the body and understand how the body moves. That just needs to be there. It's like the equivalence of putting someone in a car to drive a car and they have no idea how to drive a car.
Right.
The car is bound to be damaged in some way.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, I just want to quickly go back to when I was introducing you. Your first title was Certified Fascial Stretch?
Yes, Certified Fascial Stretch
Therapist. What does that mean?
So the fascia is basically the wrapping around the muscles, and it allows the muscles to work more as a unit or as a train.
Okay.
And so fascial stretch therapy is ever growing. It's huge, and I have to give credit to, it's a Stretch to Win Institute, where they're really they have it, I know, in for pro athletes and everything. It really is the secret to the success of many people who are moving. And
and it teaches us how to move. Is it certain moves and stretches physically?
More massage. It's really what you're working is not just with the muscles, but you're working with the whole fascia. And so, I can go more into it. But basically, the best way I can explain it is imagine a sausage. You know the sausage has the wrapping on the outside?
Yes, yeah.
The wrapping is the fascia, the meat is the muscle. And imagine you have a train
holds it together.
Sausages all combined, right? Now, if the fascia is stuck, the meat can't glide and contract properly.
Right.
So a lot of our fascias are intertangled, and there's so much more to fascia, so much depth to it. I think recently they've been exploring how the emotional chemicals and everything come through the fascia. So it actually helps with understanding, or bringing clarity, and it helps relax your mind, and it really just. It
sounds really
really
important.
It's a limiting factor. If we don't address the fascia, we can't get to the muscles. It's very important to understand that, because then when you weight train and you're moving, everything's getting stuck and stuffed and jammed, and there's no flow and no grace and ease in that movement. So part of fitness too is just freedom of movement. Right? Function. So functionality and quality of movement over, strength and the weight that we're using, right? So fascia is definitely something that should be implemented absolutely in every training regime.
It's really, really important.
Yes.
Now the big question for which I was so excited to have you here. Help us understand how we get fit. What is it for someone who's never done this before, for someone who's been going to the gym for years? Where do we start?
Okay.
And how do we start?
So to get fit is the goal.
Yes.
So if I were to make it general, in general, when we want to achieve a goal,
yes,
we know that we have to stick to the game plan. You have to stick to it. So
consistency.
So consistency and adherence is key.
Okay.
Right? And being able to recognize what gets in the way of consistency and identifying those things and setting yourself up to be consistent is the main thing. That's how you get fit. Because you can have the perfect workout program. If you don't do it, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Right? So what I would say is a lot of the reasons why people don't adhere to it is because they associate and place a meaning of fitness as a task.
Okay.
There's no real enjoyment of doing
it's just something we've got to get done.
I got to go to it, right?
Yes.
So the first thing I would say is just to first emotionally connect to why that's important to you.
Okay.
Right? Why is it important that you get fit? What is the reason? What is really driving you?
And connect it to your overall life.
How important is that? And then be excited about it. Like go through the process excited with joy, inspiration. So now it's coming from a place of a happy place.
Positivity, yeah.
Positivity. And the beautiful thing is while the exercise is taking care of the physical body and everything, and in many aspects as well, if you're in a state where you're enjoying the process, when you're happier, you make better decisions. So you're going to notice you're going to make better nutritional decisions.
Right.
You notice you're going to, you just end up consciously and subconsciously making all the right decisions because you're in a good state of mind.
Right.
So you're following the path of that state, right?
So do it with positivity.
Do it positivity, but you can't make yourself positive. To get yourself to elicit a positive reaction, you need to truly emotionally connect to why are you trying to be fit. If it's just for superficial reasons, it's because you want to be accepted, you want to be validated, you want to, if it's not for you, if it's not for your health, if it's not for something that truly is meaningful, that will only last for so long. And we will develop a very negative body image and a very negative relationship with what it means to work with our body. So in the way that I teach fitness, I really allow my students to understand that it's a process. Right? So it's going to take a little longer. None of these, 38 quick fixes, nothing wrong with that. It's great for if you want to go on vacation or whatever. But it's about understanding that, first you need to build a foundation. And on the outside, it's going to challenge your ego because it's going to seem too simple because we're satisfied by burning calories and am I going to get results?
So we're not feeling like we're doing enough.
We're focused on the outcome, right? And so we need to trust the process. So in the beginning, we first need to strip away the person that created this to begin with.
Okay.
The situation you're in right now is because of all the choices you made. And that person drove those choices. So let's figure that person out because we need a new person driving the car. Right?
That's really an interesting way.
If you're
Okay.
training 3 hours a week, there's 3 hours in 40, 50 hours a week. I can only influence you for an hour. If I just put you through an exercise and you leave, you're still that same person. My job is to empower you to seek within you and pull that person out who's going to create it. And so in the topic of fitness, great, you're going to achieve that because you're becoming the person you need to be to achieve that. Or you start to align yourself with who do you need to be to achieve that. So how we become fit, mentally fit first.
Right.
And
that's the drive behind what we're going to do and how we're going to do it.
Mental fitness, the clarity within ourselves, right? That's key. And that in itself is a process. It's a grieving process. So because some part of you has to die. And so it becomes grieving. But then what happens is we're all afraid of emotions.
And a new person is born with that motivation and that drive and a new purpose and a new goal.
Yes, totally.
That's excellent.
And so for that to happen to be reborn in that person, there is some emotions that we need to get through. And then once you do that, you're already going to feel better. You're probably going to lose weight because you're less stressed. You're less stressed about life because you have more clarity and direction. And now it becomes more than just physical fitness, but it's like a fitness of your whole being.
The well-being part of it. Yeah.
And then you end up realizing before you actually get there that it's irrelevant because it's just fun. And when you're having fun, it just becomes about,
it's not tedious.
Exploring and it's not tedious, and it's a totally different way of thinking about fitness for sure.
Well, there's so much more that I want to ask, and we want to bring nutrition into it as well. But we are going to go out for a quick break. Please stay with us, and we'll be right back with you.
जिंदगी की दौड़ में आगे रहने के लिए आप कितनी मेहनत करते हैं और वक्त है जो हाथ नहीं आता, इसीलिए अब पेश है हबीब झटपट। जी हाँ, फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम हबीब पेश करता है रेडी टू कुक रेसिपी मसाला मिक्स। इसमें है सारे इंग्रेडिएंट्स, यानी प्याज, टमाटर, लहसुन, अदरक काटने की झंझट से छुटकारा और लज्जत से भरपूर खानों का मजा बगैर किसी मेहनत के, वो भी झटपट। नो MSG एडेड, ग्लूटेन फ्री, यानी बचत, लज्जत और सेहत साथ साथ विद हबीब झटपट।
ट्रेंडी कूल है इनके गहने, गोल्ड हाउस, गोल्ड ज्वेलरी का है बेस्ट प्लेस, गोल्ड हाउस। प्योरिटी, क्वालिटी, भरोसे का ये नाम, गोल्ड हाउस ज्वेलर्स।
Now open biggest store of 22 and 24 karat gold jewelry in Malton. Gold House Jewelers.
New collection just arrived from Dubai, Pakistan and India. Call Shahid or Junaid.
905-672-0786.
Purity is guaranteed.
गोल्ड हाउस ज्वेलर्स।
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Health and Wellness with Dr. Nafeesa Jalal. We are in studio here with our wonderful guest, Rosa Rago, and we were speaking about fitness and the holistic way of thinking about fitness and how important it is to be thinking holistically if we are to actually achieve the goals that we set for ourselves. So now we want to bring into the conversation something very, very important, and that is nutrition. Because no matter how hard we're working out or how smartly we're working out and how holistically we're going through that process, we can't discard the fact that what we eat is a very big part of achieving our results or not achieving our results. So talk to us about the importance of nutrition and why it's important to think about what we're eating.
Amazing, that's an awesome question. So it's the same thing as the fitness, is that nutrition actually affects our minds as well, right? And so 90% of our neurotransmitters of the brain is in the gut. And so nutrition and specifically really making sure that we have a healthy gut and healthy digestion, because what happens is if we don't have healthy digestion, we're not going to access the nutrients of the food if we even choose to eat healthy foods.
That's really interesting.
And so the goal is not just about what we're eating, but are we ensuring that the body's really absorbing and taking in what we're feeding ourselves, right? So there's two aspects to nutrition: is eating the right foods and where are we sourcing them, right? And is our body actually processing it in a way to take from it the benefits that it's intended to?
Okay, and how do we ensure that? How do I make sure that it's processing it the way it needs to be processed?
So that would be something that I would highly recommend. I mean, there's certain symptoms that show you that you might have some digestive issues, so belching and all this stuff, bloatedness. So if you have symptoms and you suspect that, I would definitely look into that as well. And just eating things like sugars will feed bacteria, so it'll throw our gut off, giving us something called dysbiosis, so it's just like disharmony in our gut health, which then affects all kinds of other things.
So limit the sugar?
Yeah, so sugar feeds that, and knowing that we have good bacteria, so eating foods that feed the good bacteria as well, and so eating to be able to give ourselves a strong gut by knowing what to feed and recognizing the impact that sugar has. So I would say really eliminate sugar.
Okay.
For sure.
What about salt?
Salt, that varies on how much you sweat and all that stuff. That varies on, I know that I was educated in the States, and it's like 2,400 milligrams of sodium per day, in which I think it's like a ratio of 600 to, or I'm not sure, out of the 2,400, how much is, salt actually carries a 60-40 ratio. So in salt, there's about 60% sodium. Right? Or the other way around, I'm not sure. But
and there's so many foods that we're normally eating that have sodium in it anyway.
Totally. So I would say that if we're limiting eating packaged foods and we ultimately want to eat whole foods, right?
Yes.
If we're eating whole foods, enjoying some salt and at least some sea salt could really help, because that'll help. It's more alkalizing with the sea salt. But just making sure that really you're pretty safe if you're putting your own sea salt.
Okay.
Or if you're pretty safe if every other thing that you're eating is not packaged.
Right.
The reason why it's like so high for the sodium like intake is because we're eating so much packaged foods which have so much
sodium in it already. Absolutely.
Yeah,
When we're
totally.
putting it in ourselves, we can monitor just how much goes into it.
Yeah, we do it to taste, and when you do it
Yeah.
to taste, you're doing it intuitively, and if you're in a good place mentally, remember you make all the right choices, so your positive mindset intuitively guides you to know intuitively how to eat for what your body needs. Your body knows what it needs. Right? It's just our ability to be able to read the body and say, okay, now if the body is asking for sugar, it's not the body asking for that, it's the stress that you're going through,
Okay.
the fears you're going through, and
Okay.
the emotions you're going through that are saying, feed me, I need to emotionally eat.
That's really interesting about the sugar. Okay.
Yeah, which is why it's important to understand why the mindset is so important, right? So we're grounded within our mind and in our emotions, then we can trust the choices we're making are coming from that place. And there's no way that the part of you, the version of you that is grounded in your mind and in your emotions will ever want to reach for something that sabotages.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
Right? So if you're creating foods that are not good for you and clearly sabotaging,
Yes.
because we already know that chips and all that stuff
Yeah.
is bad for you.
Yeah.
So it's just about really, just being intuitive and not overthinking fitness and health.
Right. Making it as much of a natural part of your life as you can.
Don't be obsessed with it, but even in the way
Yeah.
you go about it, it's just if you keep yourself happy, you'll make happier decisions. You won't think in it, and you'll be creating more from a place of feeling rather than being in your head. And that's definitely a huge shift that I noticed when I was really fit. I was in my head, but it's a totally different experience when you do it differently, where you're creating from a place of how do I feel, you know. So yeah, and then what I would also suggest is water.
Okay.
Water is huge. Our muscles are made of like 90% of muscles. Our body is 60% water. So just logically, we can see why it's important to be hydrated. And there's so many things out there that recommend how much water you should have based on your activity
Right.
levels.
The 8 glasses is something that we see left, right, and
standard
center.
formulas
Yeah.
based on your weight or whatever. And so like just exploring and educating yourself and really looking into what you think is the best for you. You know, when you drink this much water, you'll notice a shift in your energy and all that, and that's what works for you.
So the water is very, very important.
The color of your urine
Yeah.
will expose that too.
Okay.
If you're well hydrated. Right?
So what color is a
If it's
healthy?
really dark, like yellow or orange,
Okay.
like you're dehydrated, right?
Okay.
You don't want it to be completely diluted either.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's a standard with a pH stick and that where you can figure that out. But there's so many ways we can educate yourselves to be able to monitor, our health and to start taking responsibility.
And to understand our body from the inside out.
Yeah.
So when something's off, we can catch it.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
we know before anyone else.
Yes. And then another reference I would say is when we go grocery shopping,
Yeah.
when you're looking at your foods, try to limit the ingredients.
Okay.
So like the ingredients of an apple is an apple.
Right.
The ingredients of a potato is a potato,
Right.
right?
So keep it as whole as possible,
keep it
as wholesome.
As possible. Stay on the outside aisles. Go in the middle for your olive oils and your oils
Okay.
and nuts and your seeds
Okay.
and stuff. And integrate a lot of herbs.
Okay.
So herbs is nature's medicine.
Okay.
Again, just like the fitness, I went back to the basics when I got injured. I had no choice. Same with nutrition. It isn't until we go through some sort of health crisis we start to look at what foods help with certain
Right.
things. And so herbs are natural medicine, but
Okay.
it's it could really be, it's just a good idea to take more of a preventative approach in a way of being,
Absolutely,
rather
absolutely.
than reacting to,
An illness or disease or something like that.
Totally,
Yeah.
So herbs for sure.
Okay.
Eating whole foods.
Okay.
And having the right amount of protein that feels right for you. If it's not animal-based protein and it's vegetarian, that's fine too. Make sure you're seeing someone who knows what they're doing, because protein-based proteins, they're incomplete proteins, so you
Okay.
actually have to know how to mix the right proteins.
Okay.
The incomplete proteins to create a whole protein.
Okay.
And so then your body has to know how to do that, all of that biochemically. It has to know how to do that to actually make sure it
Provides you with the energy that you need and so
exactly,
forth.
and it goes through the right chemical processes, right? But if we're lacking nutrients, then we still can't do that, right? So it's just important to
The balanced diet is very important
Oh,
because we really can't lack in anything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and fats as well.
Okay.
We're
And fats is not a negative word.
No.
There's good fats and there's bad fats.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's just having again a balance, and recognizing that fats actually contribute and influence our hormones. And if our hormones are off, that's maybe the people who feel like they're doing everything possible that's not working. So really being aware of, just how to leverage your hormones for maximizing results.
Okay.
Right? So a cortisol hormone is a stress hormone.
Okay.
So where we distribute fat actually tells us a lot about what's going on with us hormonally. So if we store fat in the stomach,
Okay.
we have the cortisol, that the hormone cortisol is out of balance. Insulin is our waist, the love handles. And so when you can understand that where we distribute our fat says a lot about our hormones, we can start to eat more towards leveraging hormones, right? And how to do that is a balanced meal, lots of good fats.
Yeah.
So.
Well, this segues perfectly into the next segment of our show. So what we bring you today is something a little bit different than we've had in the past. We bring you live demonstrations. Yes. So a lot of us learn by conversations and speaking, and I think the rest of us learn by watching and doing. So we have in studio with us a model who is going to be showing us, through your support, how we do certain things correctly. So the first thing that we want to touch on then is a certain number of body parts. Are we going to look at what the main body parts are that most of our clients, your clients are concerned with, or most of us are concerned with, and then we're going to look at how to leverage our workouts and what postures we do it in, and how we most effectively we work out.
Sorry, and basically I would say top 3 sections in the body that most people struggle with. And this might maybe cover mainly the concern of women, but there are men as well too,
Okay,
right?
and what are those top 3?
And I would say, and I'm sure you would agree, the arm, shoulder area, the stomach, and then the hips, butt, is the upper thigh, hips area.
I will agree with all 3 of those, very much so, yes.
So, and there's some exercises I'd like to show on what it is that you can do to help with these areas. And common mistakes that I see all the time in training, and that if we can just correct these few things, we can really maximize the experience when we're training to really get the results.
Get the results. That is excellent. So if you will just stay with us for 1 second, we're going to be back in studio with our model and with our setup and get to showing you the live demos.
Oh, it's so light. I love it.
Unlocked Android phone. 2 SIM card slots for 2 numbers and travel needs. 13 megapixel camera with 1080 HD recording. 16 gigabyte internal memory, which is expandable for more photos, videos, and music. Over 250 stores to open by 2018. K-Mobile.
हमने अपनी कामयाबी से बढ़कर जीता है अपनी कम्युनिटी का एतमाद और भरोसा वाजिद मलिक एंड टीम a team of top-of-the-line real estate and financial advisors in GTA from commercial to residential यानी आपके पहले घर से कामयाबी के इंतहा तक हर कदम आपके साथ वाजिद मलिक एंड एहसान वली call now 416-827-3333 or visit wajidmalik.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Health and Wellness with Dr. Nafeesa Jalal. We have in studio with us Rosa Arago, and we have our model, Bianca. And Bianca Natale, she is going to be helping us with the live demonstrations that Rosa has planned. So, Rosa, what are we going to see first?
So, the 3 body parts that are most commonly deconditioned, or the areas that people struggle with the most, we're going to say is roughly the hip area, stomach, and the arms, the shoulders, and the tricep area. So the first thing I'm going to show you is these 3 exercises are not necessarily the best for these, because there is no best. It's about using variety and exercising, the muscles. But the one I'm going to use as an example is a hip extension. So what Bianca's going to do, she's going to get on all fours. You're going to put your head here. Go ahead and get on all fours for me.
Okay. And it's so helpful to be able to see this, to actually know what we're doing.
And what I want you to do, Bianca, is you're going to open your legs just a little bit so your hips width apart. So separate your knees a little bit for me. And we're just going to stack our hips right over there. So that's going to be the beginning part. Just going to have a neutral spine. And what
So back is fairly flat?
yes, I would call it a neutral spine, okay? So you don't want it to be too curved or too rounded.
Okay.
Okay, and in this case, her shoulders are pretty good. Sometimes people have a winged scapula, or their head's really forward or anything.
Okay.
So she looks pretty good
Okay,
at
this is a posture we need to aim for.
yeah, so posturally we have like what we look like when we're not moving, but then when she starts moving, it's going to expose the foundational weaknesses, where that's where I'm going to constantly give her some cues and help her start to build relationships with certain parts of her bodies that will be exposed as weakness as she moves.
Okay.
So the point is to be able to maintain stability while moving, right, in the right areas.
Okay.
So we're gonna just check this out. So what she's gonna do is Bianca's gonna go ahead and lift this leg up and straighten it behind you, and I just want you to pump, and we're gonna pump about 25 times. So go ahead and do that. So this is great for the glutes, okay? For the
Okay.
hips.
Okay.
When she does this, though, what I'm looking for is how she's changing the mechanics in a way where it's not supposed to be.
Okay.
So she's not doing, I've actually seen a lot worse than this, but ultimately we want her to stabilize the pelvis in here. So what she's going to do is she's actually going to tuck in that tailbone a little bit, okay?
Right.
And the goal is to not move the lower back too much, okay? So we're trying to lift here, so the hinge is right here.
Okay.
So go ahead and Bianca and lift. There you go. When you do that, do you feel a difference in how it activates?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So she's going to do that. She's going to lift from there. What I see a lot is people pumping that leg. Go ahead, pump, and curve your lower back when you do
Okay.
and pump. And they start to disconnect the upper body with the lower body.
Okay.
And what they're doing is compressing
Right.
into the spine. And ultimately what you're doing is you're compressing, which is going to decrease neural flow to the muscles. And now if the muscles have less communication to these muscles are going to decondition as well. So the irony is, here she is exercising it, which is actually going to cause neural damage over the long run,
Okay.
causing these muscles to fire less because there's now no neural activity.
Right.
Right? And so being able to just recognize that, don't move this here, and pull your navel into your spine, okay? And just moving from here. Okay. Another thing is if I put my finger right here and I ask her to put her mind here for me. So put your mind here.
Okay.
Her brain is going to communicate to her leg the way she's connected to her leg.
Ah.
But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to build a stronger connection between her mind and the leg so there's more intention and more activation. And so first by asking her to stabilize this is going to call on some muscles that she wasn't using. I have to bring it to her attention. So now we're building new muscle. And then I'm going to ask her to put her mind here, and I want you to push against my finger before even moving the leg. So push into my finger.
Okay.
Push, push, push into my finger. Yes, there we go. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep pushing into my finger, keep pushing into my finger. Now follow through and lift the leg as you do that. There we go. Okay, and then come down and up. And do that 25 times. Go ahead. 2. Good. And keep your mind here. And really put your mind here and lift from here.
Okay.
And what she's going to notice, what do you feel is different there? Do you feel like you're activating more?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So just being more mindful in that way and really activating. Now, obviously, it's going to be, and you can stop right there, Bianca, but obviously, eventually, when you can get through a workout and have more volume, you're going to do more out of it. But you don't want to go through so much volume and go through so many exercises and not having a connection. So that's part of the foundation where you need to have the patience to really develop the proper connection to ensure that you're actually doing it. Because some people are like, I've been doing it, but they're getting toned in all the same areas. Is it because we need to bring about a different connection? You got to communicate with muscles you probably have never communicated.
This is really interesting. I don't think about the mental connection as I'm physically doing a set of anything.
You're sweating, you're working hard, you feel energetic after you leave. But to actually have like long-lasting changes and transformative changes, the whole point is to awaken muscles that you don't normally use. It's going to require a different level of awareness and mindfulness for sure, right? And it's about how we integrate our breath into it. Now, a few more things I want to show you. Go ahead and get into all fours, okay? Now, again, Bianca's doing a great job here, so I just want to acknowledge Bianca. You're doing a great job here.
Absolutely.
And you might not fully represent like the average
people who make mistakes.
Who make more common mistakes. Now, I mean, I'm not going to go too into it, but her shoulders are a bit different anyways. But one common thing I do see a lot of is go ahead and let your head fall, okay?
Okay.
And I see this head falling here and sink into your body and just doing that, right? So you see like the head's falling, or we forget we have a head. I've literally worked with people where I have to tell my clients, don't forget you have a head that's attached to the body. When I say that, they're like, oh, shoot. And they lift that up.
Okay, so it's important to have that at the same level as the rest of your back.
Spine alignment.
Okay,
so remember,
spine alignment, okay.
What's most important is the spine in everything that you do. Because the spine the spine is actually going to innervate the muscles.
Right.
So if you're working on causing compression, you're not actually maximizing contraction. So what you want to do is is, first of all, have a practice outside your training that really opens up the spine always, and just having that spinal hygiene.
Okay.
And then when you get into the exercises and positions, really make sure that you're staying expansive with your breath and the way that you hold your posture, so you have maximal neural flow. And this is something that you want to see in every exercise, not just this one. But
spinal hygiene is the first time I've heard this word.
Yeah,
so this is really interesting.
So,
okay.
And that's where the fitness in movement comes in, having a mobility practice and all that stuff too. And so in this exercise, I kind of showed ways and how she can not be counterproductive by compressing.
Right.
So ultimately by just staying stable in the pelvis.
Okay.
Keep the head in alignment right here.
Okay.
And then just working on this with the intention to really hinge at the hip. So go ahead and lift without changing that. Go ahead. Okay. And put your mind here and just lift from there and just pump from there 25 times, okay? And the whole time, you know, especially if you're taking a fitness class, a lot of people are like, oh, am I doing this right? Or, you know, wow, she looks, I wonder if they can tell that my butt looks saggy here. And we start thinking while we're moving.
Yes,
so
and that's taking away from the mindfulness of that actual pose and activity.
Yeah, so if we're working out by ourselves, okay, great. But if we're in a class, it's really important to pay attention to what you're paying attention to.
Right, and I'm noticing that you're really focusing on her lifting with this part of her body. Oftentimes I find we use the back to just lift up.
Yes,
we find that as long as we're lifting, we're fine, but we're not fine because we have to lift from a certain place.
Yes, totally.
This is the world of internet. You have everything on your computer and mobile screen. If you wish to promote your business through internet, especially to perfect target market, then you have just one reliable name, NJ Marketing, offering various marketing solutions like social media marketing, telemarketing, email marketing, search engine optimization, graphic designing, web designing and development, and mobile application development. So call now at 647-824-1485 or email at njmarketing15@gmail.com or log on to njmarketing.ca.
We at Albarka Travel are passionate about our clients' entire journey, from dream to experience to memory. We are not only the #1 Umrah agent in Canada, but also guarantee the cheapest airfare to Pakistan, India, Middle East, and Europe. Albarka Travel, combining your ideas with its experience and expertise to deliver you the most enjoyable travel experience and vacation packages possible. Get in touch at 905-232-6566. Albarka Travel. Explore the world with us.
चॉकलेट चिप कुकी अली
सिर्फ कुकी दूंगा, चॉकलेट चिप नहीं दूंगा। इसमें तो बहुत सारे चॉकलेट चिप हैं। एक सेकंड देता हूँ, अभी भी बहुत है।
अब अली बेचारा क्या करे जब नए बिस्कॉनी चॉकलेट चिप कुकी में है बहुत ज्यादा चॉकलेट चिप्स, ऊपर भी चॉकलेट, अंदर भी चॉकलेट। बिस्कॉनी चॉकलेट चिप कुकीज, बहुत 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 चॉकलेटी।
हर खुशी बिस्कॉनी।
So the next one is requires that we have a ball. So go ahead and get up, Bianca. And so with this ball, what we're going to do, this would be more about the core area.
Okay.
Again, is this the best one for your core? No, because there's so many parts to our core. So I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if this movement exposes any other weaknesses and the tips that you want to think about in doing this exercise. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and take a seat here. This one's an excellent one that I got from Paul Chek. Amazing. The Paul Chek Institute. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up your knees, okay? Come forward a little bit with the ball.
Okay.
Put your hands behind your head, okay? And you're just going to go ahead and lie down. So just place yourself down nice and slow, nice and slow. Now, anyone who gets dizzy, I would recommend that they probably don't do this.
Okay.
Walk forward, okay? Right there, cool.
She's got good balance, I've got to say.
Okay. If you can't even balance in this exercise altogether, then you might want to just practice the balance. Okay. And so what Bianca's going to do here is we're going to work with 3 points in the body. Okay. So we have flexion in the neck, the thoracic, and the hips.
Okay.
And what she's going to do is she's going to put the tongue in the roof of her mouth. I won't go into too much detail, but ultimately that closes a chain of muscles that connects the core.
The tongue in the mouth. Okay.
Yes, when you put the tongue in the roof of the mouth,
Okay.
what it does is
Okay.
that there's a chain of muscles.
Okay.
Like the fascia, there's a train
Okay.
of them that connect all the way up there. So when you do that, you close that chain and it helps to activate the core.
Very interesting. Okay.
So, and what she's going to do is she's going to come up, and the first thing she's going to work with one vertebrae at a time. So first from the neck,
Okay.
keep coming up slowly, slowly, slowly up this way, up, and then she's going to lift up nice and tall.
Okay.
And then when she comes down, she's going to place one vertebrae down at a time. So drop this one right here, then drop this, then drop this,
Okay.
drop that, okay? And this helps to give a healthy movement in each vertebrae, because sometimes we're fused at 3 or 4 when you'll have a big drop.
Okay.
So the point is to really, slowly flex and then slowly extend back. Now, it's also really important to understand when she does this is how she breathes. So you're going to inhale first, and then you're going to exhale, come up, chin first, chin, chin, chin.
Okay.
Good. Come up here, up, 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 nice and tall. Awesome. Okay. And then come down.
And you've
Now-
got to have a fair bit of balance because she's fairly at the end of that ball.
Yes. And what's cool about this is that, this could be similar to crunches, your traditional crunches.
Right.
The crunches though start at the ground, so you actually, she gets to extend back. And so
Okay.
a healthy spine can extend back and should be able to extend
Okay.
back at about 30 degrees.
Right.
Right? So if she can develop the strength to come up and flex from that position, that's a whole
Right.
30 degrees of angle that we're not gaining when we're on the floor. So
And that stretch there, I don't know if the audience can see, is very transparent.
Yes,
Like,
and the beautiful thing about this is that, so now you've got spinal hygiene, you're really opening up and you're really restoring function in this movement while strengthening the core. Now, for some people this might hurt their lower back, because if they're fused in sections of the spine,
Okay.
it's not nicely rolled over the ball.
Right.
And so if that's the case, then I would highly recommend you don't do this and progress and maybe see a professional
Okay.
who can help you with that.
Okay.
Or, if you feel comfortable trying to do it intuitively and slowly, but it's always important to feel confident in what you're doing.
I can actually feel the stretch even not doing the stretch,
Yeah.
just looking at her because of just how
Yeah,
how her
totally.
posture is designed.
That alone is just a great way to
Is a
just
great stretch, right?
exercise and
Yeah,
stretch, right?
yeah.
And so that would be the second exercise.
Okay.
So, and go ahead, come up, Bianca. The third one would
Yeah.
be one that would target more of the shoulders and the arms.
Okay.
So what Bianca's going to do, we can just put that right over there.
Okay.
Okay, Bianca, you're going to stand right here. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to step on the band, and this is called a standard stance, okay? So a staggered position, not standard, staggered, okay? And you're going to basically grab the resistance band, but I do not want you to put it like this.
Okay.
You have to grab it so it goes from the middle, just like that. Okay?
Okay.
You're gonna step this way, you're going to hold this here.
Hold it
and
like
I just
this,
want you
okay.
to lift up and come down without me giving you any tips. I just want
Okay.
to see where she's at with,
Okay.
just that
Right.
larger movement pattern without me giving her too many tips so that it exposes to me. Okay? Awesome. So there's so many things to think about when you do this.
Okay.
For one, what happens is you're coordinating 2 parts to the shoulder. So
Right.
there's the shoulder blade and the ball and socket.
Okay.
And they have to, kind of like, when you have a train with the wheel and the stick.
Yeah.
It could jam if they don't coordinate together.
Right. Okay.
And so what happens is the shoulder blades are supposed to rotate this way.
Okay.
The point at which the arm comes about 9 degrees, you should start seeing a rotation here, but that movement is limited in most people because the rib cage, because of posture, we're stuck. So what happens is we start to develop a faulty movement pattern where the shoulders start to come up.
Okay.
And so you're going to exaggerate it for me, but this is like something common I see. So go ahead and lift, but shrug your shoulders as you do it. Go ahead. And when they start to do this, which then starts to compress the neck in here.
Right.
And what...
I know if the people can see, if you want to turn around once so we can even show the
turn around
audience.
facing that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and up. And we start to do that. Okay?
Right.
When that happens, we're compressing the spine.
Right.
And basically, if we really want to tone this area, and not
Yeah.
to be so vain about it, but
Yeah.
we really want to maximize, because tone means a higher basal metabolic rate, which means our metabolism
Okay.
is going to be better. Because
Okay.
just standing, we're contracting, which requires calories, okay? So, if we really want to, we have to make sure that the nerves are speaking to those muscles, but we won't over time if we keep compressing this.
Right.
So again, you see how I'm always referencing the spine to
Yes.
make sure that we have that,
Yeah.
we decompress the spine while we're working out. We're not using it to compress, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna inhale first, then you're gonna exhale and lift, okay? And you're gonna try, what you're gonna do is you're gonna just put your mind on the top of your neck here and press down.
We can even
towards the
turn
corner of
around
your
if we want
shoulders.
now.
So let's give the camera the profile right there, okay? Awesome, you should square up your hip, turn in here, okay? Okay, hold your posture up, okay? And so what you're gonna do is hold your posture up here. Can you feel my finger here? I want you to press this down towards your shoulders. Yes, and do that here. So you can feel that stretch, correct? So you're really gonna make sure that you're keeping your chest up though. Okay, there we go, okay? So now go ahead and lift your arms up just to about 45 degrees.
Okay.
Okay? We want to develop the first 45 degrees first.
Right.
Because I find, again, the common tightness that we have because of posture and breathing, most people, the average population, to go above, they're likely going to compensate.
Okay.
So you want to first develop just the part where we're it's called abducting.
Okay.
So that we're not really working on the shoulder blades, the ones that rotate yet fully.
Okay.
Okay, right now we're just focusing on.
So just under the waist area.
Yes. And over time, 2 to 4 weeks in, then you can start to progress to something higher. Okay?
And ideal is what, to be able to take our hand to higher up?
Well, how high you go it will determine what muscles you use. So there's no right or wrong.
Okay.
But using variety, even in the different grips, if she used dumbbells instead of a resistance band, it's going to have a totally different effect on the body.
Right.
So
Okay.
I mean, that's going way more into depth. But right now, the movement and how we load is important.
Okay.
Now, when we are weak in the muscles that we're training, we'll start to do things like using, faulty movement patterns that, compensatory movement patterns. So what you're going to notice here is the wrist is going to extend.
Okay.
Because she can't get the strength from the shoulders enough, so she'll start to extend at the wrist, which is something she's doing.
Okay.
So
what is the right way to do it? Not extend or extend?
Not to move that. So remember I told you the pelvis can't move during the leg?
Right.
The wrist cannot move during this because we're moving here, we're stabilizing.
Okay.
So go ahead and let's align that right there. Nice tight fist, okay? And what I want you to do is I really want you to find the strength. You take an inhale, and then exhale and lift from the shoulders. Right there, and then breathe in. And just by simply holding on and stabilizing the wrist, she's going to notice it's going to use a totally different, different muscles.
Yeah.
Right? Awesome. Cool, and even the yellow one, I mean, it seems like it could be easy, but this is a great
It's not, I've tried it,
Yeah, okay. And, just
and the
doing
spine is at all times.
Yes, and just doing about
Very
15
straight.
reps of that, okay?
Okay.
Now, another common thing I'll notice is when we lose the strength here, we start to notice our head going forward, like this.
Okay.
Right? So, just again...
We want to keep the head straight.
Again, try to find a load that burns the muscles that are intended to be used and really exercises them to fitness, but not where you lose composure in other areas. If your face is cringing, because then you're teaching yourself how to be strong with tension rather than strength with grace.
Right. Strength of grace, that's a good word.
Yes, totally.
Okay.
And just feeling your body relaxing while strengthening. So you're really isolating what you're using, and just it takes a lot of body awareness and mindfulness to be able to catch all these things. And simply by doing that, where it's more intentional and more mindful, and doing things that on the outside might seem like it's simple, you are going to get way better results.
Okay.
And you're going to feel amazing. You're going to feel way stronger because the foundation is stronger.
Yeah.
It's just like a win-win for everybody.
Posture's big, spine is big.
Yes, totally. Okay.
And if something is too hard, then not just pushing ourselves, but building up to that.
Well, absolutely pushing yourself and making sure you're pushing yourself properly, right? Pushing the right muscles and making sure that, a breath is a great reference.
Okay.
So, if you're able to get through your breath, if you're cringing and you're, if you're starting to care more about the outcome, you don't care what it looks like, you lose your form. But it is important to understand that in order for you to get gains, our body, we're just naturally lazy, so we want to save energy. So if we can save energy, it's important for us to understand that we have to expose the body maybe the last couple of reps to some, discomfort. And there will always be a bit of compensation towards the end. So just considering, those kind of standards, if you will, and you're likely not to injure yourself and to feel way stronger after even one session. It's crazy.
Bianca, you were excellent. I've done some of these moves, but not with that posture. And I have to say my spine is all over the place, and so is my head. And you really don't think about it. Sometimes you just think about getting through that rep without thinking about how we're doing it, the form, like you spoke about, and how important is the form in terms of getting an effective outcome.
Totally, and it's about really being present to what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, the mindfulness of, especially when you were doing the leg stretches, I just realized that I've never done that in a mindful way. I've done it for the sake of doing it, but never to think about what muscle am I pulling from.
Yeah, and then being
that's
curious
really-
as to if I'm using this muscle, does it feel numb?
Right.
How come, so how is it
Yeah.
it stronger feels numb, right? So
Yeah.
it first starts with an intention, and then you'll start to feel the muscles activate. Right?
Absolutely.
So it's just like a natural principle of anything, right? You always
Yeah.
want to start with the intention and be present, and then you start to, create what it is that you're trying to create.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bianca. And thank you, Rosa, for being here today with us. The information was so helpful, so interesting. I wish we had hours to just speak to you and hours to see different workouts as well. But I'd like to thank you for being here today, both of you. On behalf of all of us at Studio, I'd like to leave you with the message. Fitness is very, very important, and whether you have a half an hour a day to devote to it or an hour or a few times a week, it's important that you do it in a very wholesome way. It's important that you connect to all parts of your body and your mind as you do it. Rosa, I want to give you the opportunity to say something to our audience as well. What would you like to leave them with? What message do you think is really important that they remember?
I would definitely say it is to just take the first step. So
Okay.
take the first step, even if it's just 5 minutes a day,
Okay.
and start with the intention and let go of the outcome.
Okay.
And over time, you'll be happy with what you start to gain. And it's just it is those small steps that's so important.
Absolutely. So I hope you take from our conversations, I hope as you're working out next in the gym or in whatever physical activity that you partake in, that you're mindful in what you do. You keep in mind form and posture because they're very, very important to the actual physical outcome. And I hope that you consider nutrition more carefully when you're at the grocery store next. Like you said, the outside aisles, wholesome foods, trying to cut out sugar as much as possible, being mindful of how much sodium we have in our diets. When we're in a healthy place, we have to remember that health is very, very comprehensive. And all of the things part and parcel, what we eat, how we work out, when we do it, how we think is so fundamental, and you're great with helping people with that. So I'm going to have your information on screen for anyone that wants to speak to you. But the mind is so important, and it's as important as the physical attributes and contributes to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings our show to a close. And Rosa, I wish we had hours to speak about so much of your knowledge, and I wish we had a little bit more time as well to look at more postures and exercises, because it's so helpful to have the visual. I find that I really gain from the visual as much as I do from the conversations. But I would like to offer you the chance to say something to our audience. What would you like to leave them with? What is the most important message that you can give as a wellness coach from any of your lenses?
I would definitely just say to take the first step.
Okay.
Take the first step and do it with inspiration and with joy. But just take the first step, even if it means just starting 5 minutes a day.
Okay.
It's the small little steps that we take that really will lead us to success, and it makes it more realistic for us to achieve. But just really do take the first step.
That is a great message and very, very important. All of us lead busy lives. I don't think we can discount that. But fitness is a very, very essential part of our lives. If we want to live our best life, we have to live our healthiest life. And as Rosa's helped us understand, fitness is not just going to the gym and working out. It's not just the exercise component of it. It's a very comprehensive, wholesome approach that we have to take. So we have to think about the physical, we have to think about the mental, we have to think about the spiritual, we have to think about our overall health and how we connect what we physically do to how we think and the positivity that we bring. And you also said the positivity part of it is very important. Let's exercise and eat well and live well with a positive attitude. Let's do it not because we have to, but because we want to. And I think that's a very fundamental message that I want to leave all of you with. So on behalf of all of us at Studio, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you take some of our conversations and use it in your lives. I hope as you go to the grocery store next, you think about the ingredients that are in a package. And like she's helped us understand, the less ingredients, the better, because that means we have more wholesome products in our cart and in our home and in our fridge and ultimately on our plate. And as we exercise next, let's do it with motivation. And let's do it with a drive to become healthier in every part of our body and our minds. So thank you very much from all of us, and have a great night. We'll see you next Sunday.
A criminal charge can be an ugly